Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, former Prime Minister Rowley, Emperor Thanos Rowley, the man who governed our nation with an iron fist for 9.5 years, has called on the government to immediately end the state of emergency and dismiss both the Minister of Homeland Security and the Attorney General, accusing the administration of abusing his authority and acting without evidence. Now, I agree with him, man. I agree with him, and that's why I'm highlighting it. Matter of fact, even if I didn't agree with him, I would have still highlighted it just to show his hypocrisy. But I do agree with him. They need to end the SOE. So let's continue. In a Facebook post, Rowley sharply criticized Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, accusing her government of being spiteful, vindictive, and incompetent in the extreme. Rowley, what you think you were doing for the past 9.5 years, babe? Now, I am not being like the UNC and people and them. The UNC people and them trying to say, well, PNM did it to us, so what do you have a problem with it now for? Because we voted for change, people. That is why. But anyhow, the former Prime Minister also responded to a previous remark by Persad-Bissessar in which she referred to him as an Oreo. Yeah, people don't get tired. It's not just the PNM that always spewing as such a tribal and very offensive types of rhetoric against the Indos in Trinidad and Tobago, you know. The Indos do it as well all the time, but they're playing hypocrites now, self-righteous hypocrites, and pretending as though only the 1% talking, using prejudice types of statements right now. And even the PNM base vexed with the 1% right now because of certain statements. Whatever. Rowley claimed the government had failed to justify actions taken under the state of emergency, particularly following what he described as an embarrassing collapse before the Privy Council. He's right about that as well. But you're not ashamed, Rowley. You declared crime a health crisis in order to declare a state of emergency after using an SOE for what, over 2 years to lock down the country because of C-19. Totally and utterly destroyed our nation's economy. But you want to talk about this government. But I will admit one thing, though. Kamala has become even more evil than you. That is true. He accused the administration of hiding under a state of emergency in order to abuse the machinery of the state as they try to settle personal and political scores against citizens. I agree with that. They are going after their opponents. Kamala seems as though she doesn't care about the UNC, and all she cares about is taking revenge. That is how it appears in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes. It seems as though she uses opportunity instead to go after her opponents and all those who hurt her in the past, instead of actually governing our nation to revive the economy and restore good governance and democracy. Because democracy was taken away from us for 9.5 years, you know, people. People were getting locked up just for protesting and all kind of utter nonsense under Rowley's administration. Questioning recent comments by the Prime Minister about awaiting developments in foreign jurisdictions, Rowley said the government had spent a month making allegations but had failed to collate criminal charges. He's right about that. Rowley argued that if the government possesses evidence of criminal wrongdoing, it should pursue legal action decisively within the law rather than relying on unspecified foreign authorities. Now, in general, I do have a problem with using foreign organizations, foreign authorities, right, agencies, in order to be able to conduct investigations. I find they should use it to investigate the TTPS, but they're not going to do that. And PNM will never do that either, because both parties love to use the TTPS in order to abuse their authority and rule with an iron fist. He further alleged that the administration was compromising Trinidad and Tobago's sovereignty by seeking assistance from external jurisdictions for political purposes. Now, if it's for political purposes, I agree. But in general, once again, our investigative bodies are incompetent and corrupt. We need help from outside people. We do. The government must end the state of emergency now, Rowley wrote. He also called on the Prime Minister to dismiss the Minister of Homeland Security and the Attorney General if she hoped to restore any respect from the right-thinking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. People, he's right. He's a hypocrite, but he's right. My response, even though the former tyrant, Emperor Rowley, is being a hypocrite, everything highlighted are issues which need to be addressed. I guess he no longer considers crime to be a health crisis, though. But nevertheless, this Kamala Roger Alexander administration has definitely taken autocracy to a whole new level. People are telling you, hopefully I'm wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala uses a state of emergency in 2030 to delay general elections. You know, I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong about that. I ain't no prophet, so I don't know that. I'm just watching at how things are going. I wouldn't be surprised if she does that. I hope and pray, though, that the Privy Council will ensure that the government will no longer be allowed to declare an SOE in order to supposedly fight crime. I've said it over and over again, and I will say it again here. And Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj and many other actual experts outside there say the same thing. You're only supposed to use an SOE under certain circumstances. And those are, I'm telling you what I believe they are. If there's a natural disaster and there's widespread destruction throughout your country, for the safety of the citizens and to restore order into the country, you declare a temporary state of emergency. If there's widespread rioting and so forth, right, you declare a state of emergency temporarily again. Once again, it's within about a week or so, you're supposed to be able to restore law and order. And of course, the same thing like with rioting. If there's an actual insurrection, an attempted insurrection, then you declare a state of emergency, and as soon as you have restored law and order and apprehended the individuals who attempted to overthrow the government, you end the state of emergency. Those are the only reasons you're supposed to be able to use such extreme powers, people, not to fight crime, because crime will continue to be an ongoing issue. No matter what you want to boast, 15%, 20% reduction in crime. Reform your Trinidad and Tobago police so that they can conduct their investigations in a professional and effective manner, so that their detection rates can increase and their conviction rates can increase as well, so that people wouldn't be winning a set of lawsuits in court because of wrongful detention, imprisonment, and malicious prosecution. Right, so I went on to say, I hope and pray that the Privy Council will ensure that the government will no longer be allowed to declare an SOE in order to supposedly fight crime. Do you all remember when the TTPS used to claim that crime was also being reduced under the mighty Morphin Ghanaian Coalpot Bicycle PNM? You all remember that? And back then, the UNC people used to be laughing. Ha, 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 oh, that's just propaganda. You believe it now, though, you know. Same TTPS. I want to call them Kamala's rough men, because the police officers didn't change. The same Kamala's rough men were under the PNM, and they were lying the same way about how crime was being reduced, using very small statistical numbers to try to claim as though something significant is taking place. Lies and more lies. When will Trinis wake up and realize that the TTPS is a corrupt agency which is used by both political parties, people, to oppress and persecute the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? And that's why Privy Council must step in and say, you know what, enough is enough. Yeah, you all might never reform the Trinidad and Tobago police, but at least we could restrict your access to extreme powers, your ability to use extreme powers like an SOE in order to infringe upon the constitutional rights of citizens here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Weather report for Wednesday, July 29, 2026, Trinidad and Tobago. The weather forecast for Wednesday, July 29, 2026 in Trinidad and Tobago calls for partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies, with daytime temperatures peaking at 30 degrees Celsius and dropping to a low of 24 degrees Celsius. According to the official Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, the region will experience a few showers that may become heavy during the morning hours, bringing a risk of street or flash flooding and gusty winds. Additionally, a mild concentration of Saharan dust will be present in the atmosphere, creating slightly hazy conditions. Atmosphere and marine conditions. Expect sticky conditions ranging from 70% to 95% humidity. Winds will move from the east to southeast at 5 to 35 kilometers per hour. The heat index will feel like 33 degrees Celsius during peak hours. Marine conditions feature moderate seas with open water waves hitting 1.5 to 2.0 meters. Spring tides are currently in effect, so mariners and beachgoers should exercise caution.
Regional news now. The Provisional Electoral Council says Haitians will vote in the first round of presidential and legislative elections on December 13th this year. The elections will be the first since 2016. Watch how long. When Haitians elected Jovenel Moise as the country's president. I'm telling you, what if the government, this present government, tries to declare, tries to imply that gangs have complete control of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore we can't take the chance of exiting office right about now. So we're going to have to delay the elections for about 10 years or so. My goodness, God have mercy on us. Let's hope it doesn't reach there. Moise was later assassinated on July 7th, 2021 by armed men, including foreign mercenaries, at his private residence overlooking the capital, Port-au-Prince. In a statement, the CEP set February 21st next year for the runoff, ending months of speculation as to whether the French-speaking CARICOM country would be able to stage an election in a nation where criminal gangs control a significant portion of the capital. My goodness, boy. That's when you allow gang culture to get out of control. Matter of fact, you should not be trying to promote it at all. Because Trinidad and Tobago and even Jamaica, we're on the same road, you know. That's what you're supposed to be addressing here in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister. Ending gang culture. Stop allowing the radio stations to be glorifying and promoting murder and other forms of criminal behavior. The February 2nd round will also include local government elections. The first round includes presidential and legislative elections, as well as a popular vote on proposed constitutional reforms. The CEP said in the statement, adding that the calendar depended on the establishment of an acceptable security climate, so it's still dependent on that, and the necessary funds to pursue electoral operations. Let's just hope that they don't end up coming up with a next excuse to delay it again. International news now. The rare coin discovered on the Ashdod coast is tangible evidence of the maritime and commercial ties that existed between the land of Israel and Cyprus some 2,500 years ago. Land of what? Israel, not Palestine. Palestine was a name given to Judea and Samaria back in 135 or 136 AD by the Roman Emperor Hadrian, as a form of punishment due to a Jewish revolt. Do you understand that, my dear tribals and jihadists outside here? Rabbi Amachi Eliyahu, Israel's heritage minister, said, an employee on Israel's Ashdod beach recently uncovered a rare 2,500-year-old coin from the Persian period, marking what experts say is the first known discovery of its kind in Israel. Isn't it wonderful? The Israel Antiquities Authority identified the coin as originating from the ancient city of Salamis in Cyprus. The discovery offers new evidence of commercial and maritime links between Cyprus and the land of Israel during the 5th century BCE, providing researchers with an unusually well-preserved artifact from a period in which coins of this type were often cut into smaller pieces for everyday trade. More evidence of Israel's existence a very long time, people. Not 1948. That's when God brought them back into their land, which was promised in Amos 9, verses 11 to around 14 or 15. Defense Minister orders IDF, Israeli Defense Force, to expand counter-terror operations in Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank by the anti-Zionists in the world, but it is really Judea and Samaria, following a series of Palestinian terror attacks in recent days. Defense Minister Israel Katz announced he ordered the Israeli military to expand its offensive operations against Palestinian terrorism, which is attempting to re-emerge. You see, people? And then the whole world will accuse the Israelis of oppressing the Palestinians. Tell your Palestinian terrorists, to stop trying to kill Israeli people and blowing up themselves and chanting all kind of utter nonsense while doing so. The Israel Defense Force was ordered to prepare to take control of another refugee camp following the model used in the terrorist camps of Jenin, Tulkam, and Nur Shams, which were evacuated of residents cleared of terrorist infrastructure, and where the IDF now maintains a permanent presence, Kat's office stated. And it's important to do so, because once you allow these terrorists and them to continue to just roam freely, they plot, and then they don't just end up just plotting. They carry out those plots. They go in people's marketplaces, go in people by malls, different public places, and they commit their acts of terrorism, causing many to be injured and others to lose their lives.
Bible quote of the day. Psalm 24-6. A prayer for answered desires and victory. May He give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy over your victory and lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all your requests. Now this I know, the Lord gives victory to His anointed. He answers him from His heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of His right hand.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.